Right. Heidi hi. Okay, it looks like we're all good to go. Not sure what that green box that I can't see is, but anyway. Right, so we're going to record this little video. What we're going to do is we're going to take on the Perl Weekly Challenge number 71, Peak Element. This has been submitted by Mohammed Anwar, and basically what we're going to do, as it says here, maybe I can make that a bit bigger. Yeah, there we go, we can read that a bit better, is we're going to take positive integer, we're going to write a script that creates an array of the size of n, which is the number we're given, with the random unique elements between 1 and 50. In the end, it should peek out the peak elements in an array if found, and an array element is called peak if it's bigger than its neighbors, so the numbers on either side, I guess. And the example they give us here, we've got an array of these numbers here, and 48, 45 and 21 are the peak numbers. So 48, where's 48? It's up here. So 28 is lower than 48, so that's a peak number. 45, you can see it here, 18 on the side, 38 on the other, yep. And where's 21? 21's up here, and it's got 7 and 6 either side. Okay, so let's give it a go. Let me know if you are watching, or if you see this, how the video frame rate is. Made a couple of tweaks to the setup, so hopefully it's okay. So I'm just going to switch into my terminal. Okay, so just create a little directory for it already. Using screen, and like I've said before, what I normally do is I'll use screen and I'll run the tests and stuff in here. Hopefully the font is big enough. I don't want to go too big, otherwise it's hard for me to fit everything on the page. If that doesn't work, let me know. Just before that, I will send a short tweet. Or did I already tell everybody that I've started? I forget. Yep, just started. Okay, so if you're not following me, at LanceW on Twitter. Okay, so let's just get going on this. Oops, I'll switch to the wrong thing. Okay, great. So let's get started. So completely empty directory. First thing we're going to do is let's start this, make a directory T for tests. Oops, can't find keys with my fingers again. I'm just going to call this basic. I'm not going to do, like I said last time, this is not a, what's the best way of describing it? This is not me being super good at doing it perfectly. This is me doing it the short, fast way, just for the sake of this video. Hopefully we'll fit it all in pretty quick if I stop talking and get on with it. Okay, so we've got a test file called basic00basic.t. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use test to v0. Not sure about the frame rate, can't really tell, so if you're watching this, let me know. Okay, so basically that's the module I want to use, and I can do this thing where I can, the way I like to do these things is I can set this a target of a module that I'm going to create, and we're going to call this module, what are we creating? Peak number? Array peak? I forget, what's it actually called? Peak element. So let's do something silly like call it peak, like that, and let's just go, okay, 1. So hopefully that should do a thing. So I've just jumped across. If you can see it at the bottom there, you should see which pane I'm in. So let's just go prove SLV. Okay, so this is failing because it can't find peak.pm, and that's what that's correct. I haven't created it yet. So let's do that. Let's create a lib directory, and then we're going to make lib peak.pm. What have I got there? Got something in my buffer from before. So we're going to call this package peak, one at the end because it's Perl. What does that do to our test? What I'll do is I'll just reset approve just to make it cleaner. Okay, cool. So syntactically it's correct. We've created a test. Yeah. But the tests have run, but there's no plan declared and done testing wasn't seen. So there we go. So what I'm going to do, actually, what I'll do is I'm going to edit the tests here. And what I'll do is I'll go to the third pane and do this trick that I like to watch. And we're just going to watch prove minus lb. So watch is just a Linux command. It's just going to keep running this command every 2 seconds. There you go. So that's all run, but it doesn't seem done testing. So back here and just say, where are we? Done, is it testing? Something like that. I should probably looked at the message. Okay, so now it's fine. The test is passing. It's going okay 1, and that's just that test that I got. Yep. So let's start writing our test. So we know roughly what we want. Okay. So in the browser, if we jump into the browser, we can see if we're given. Let's just do this bit first. So if we're given this array, we should return this. So let's test that first, okay? Because this is my main subroutine. So let's test it. So if we switch back. So what we're going to do is go my expected equals see if I've got myself in the right place. Nope, always do that. Let's just paste that back in here. So that's what we're oh no, that's my input, sorry. And this is what we expect, right? So again, if I flip back to the browser, we can just lift this out. What we expect it to be is this here. So if we switch back. Like that. Yeah. So just while we're at it, let's just tidy that up a little bit. Like that. I'm not expecting any changes at this point. Yep. And what we're going to do is say we can use it's called is, and then we can call the class, and the method, let's just call it peak. And let's stick the input in there, and that should return the expected array. Like that. Okay, so we're just going to, I'll point at the screen, that's silly. Hopefully you can see the mouse. So what we can do is we're going to run this command off the class, so peak, from the peak. It's kind of, I don't like that. Let's rename it. That makes no sense. The peak element. So that'll be peak element. Not sure I like the name, but anyway. And we're going to give it the input, which is that array. Later on we can do it properly, and then we expect it to return 48, 45, 21, and that should work. And what we should see in this test before I switch over is it should fail, because I can't find the method element in the package. Makes sense, right? So if we switch back to the package, you can see this is peak, and it's got nothing to it. So what we can do is we can do sub element like that, and that should change the error message. Yep. So the reason that changed is because we now have a method called, we created that sub, the method called element, and it's failing because it's not quite what we want. So what we can do is we can return our expected value, which should be, I forget what the numbers are. Anybody? Should be here. So we should return that. What does the test do? So I got 21, expected 3 because I haven't done it right. Yeah, so let's just be a bit. Right, so let's have a look at that. So we've got an array, but we expected 3. So obviously we should probably reference this, so we can remember how to type on this keyboard. Okay, so that's now passing, so that's helpful. It's not how we want to solve the problem, but it shows that the test works, right? So let's jump back here. So let's have a think about how this problem actually works. So we've got that array, we want to loop around that array and then compare the things on the left and right of it, and if the one in the middle is the highest number, then it's a winner and we want to return that. And we're going to return it as an array for now, and we can make it output afterwards. Cool. So let's do that. Okay, so let's get the get it off there. So let's get the args off. So it's failing again, which is what I'd expect. what I'll just do is just can't type. So this should fail, but it should tell me, hopefully, that I've passed the original array back in. Let's have a look. Yep, so that failed as we'd expect. Oops, what did I do there? Ah. I jumped out of my screen session. So we've got this array, and what we want to do, so we're going to have what, an array of output. And at the end, let's return like that. Okay, so that's fine because we've got nothing being returned. Okay, so what we're going to do, is we're going to create a little loop, a bit similar to the other one I did. That this is going to be like this, but instead of starting at 1, we're going to go from here to 222. We want the length of the out. This is probably evil, but let's do that. So we want it to be basically the length of the array, so it cycles around them. So what have we achieved there? Come on, test. Is that running? Why is that not warning? Ah, because it's output. There we go, so you can see it warning away. Probably noticed already, but one of the things I like to do is, because I leave the test running, I can check for my typos, because I make a lot of typos. So leaving it running like that catches typos earlier for me. What's wrong with that? Did I do that wrong? Okay, so we're going to loop round. So this gets pretty... It doesn't seem too bad, actually. So what we want... I'll do this the verbose way first. So the before value... Yeah. What we want to do is we want a before and an after value. And I have a suspicion that we have a bug already before I start, but let's see if it's true first. And if you can see it coming, let me know before I do it. So this is going to be, we're going to pull one element out of this, and it's going to be the counter -1. So whichever number we're at, -1. Like that. So what does that give us? Something is wrong. Done it again. Okay, so you can see it there. And the bug I thought I was going to see is, if you look at the input there, the first number in that array is 18, and the last one is 48 in the inputs. and we go here and we can see the first number that before is 48, and it shouldn't be, it should be 18. And the reason for that is because we've got this I minus 1, so actually what we're doing is going to 0 minus 1, it's just minus 1, which is the last element on the array, not the first. So easiest fix is probably that. The problem if we do that is that would give us the right numbers, but actually the first number is the one we want, so that's not going to work either, right? Because we want to check that first array, and that's starting in the second, so that's no good. So what we should do, I've got an idea. Let's see if this works. So what we want to do is let's do this. Let's define those two and just go before, after, and they're going to equal, can't remember if I need the brackets, but let's do it anyway. So they're going to be 0 every time we go around this loop. And what we're going to do is before is going to equal the element beforehand if and only if I is greater than 0. So it's 1 or higher, it's fine. That should be fine. Zero. Yeah, that's fine for what I want to do. And we can go after. It's going to be the element 1 beforehand. And we're going to have the same problem if we get to the end of that one. If $i less than, what's going to be less than? I guess input minus 1, right? But I guess. So what does that show us? So 0 and 45. If we look at our browser, in that first set, for the first number, there's nothing below it. So I'm just saying that to 0 because 18 is always going to be higher than that. And the number to the right is 45. That seems okay. And then the second number we've got there is, what's that? 18 and 38. That seems right. So that looks like it's working. So then it should be relatively easy at this point, because then what we want to do is just do a bit of logic of saying if input the main input that we're looking for is greater than 4 and it's also greater than after. Then let's push onto output, input, oops, I, like that. Okay, so if it's higher than the number on the left and the number on the right, then let's push that number onto the output, then we return the output array. Life should be good. Oh, the order isn't the same. Where's that? Ah, okay. That makes sense, because these numbers are in the wrong order, right? Because that first one should be 45. These numbers should be 45 and 48, 45, 21. That's sorted. Let's just see if I'm right. Oh, no, I've messed that up, because that's, okay. Don't do it there, because it wants a reference. So I'm going to just do this manually, because I think I understand the problem. What's the next one? So, yeah, so 21 and then 48. Why is that not right? Let's take a look and see what it is. The old-fashioned way. Data dumper. Everyone loves data dumper. So why have I only got 21 in there? Seriously? Just run Perl tidy. What have I done wrong, people? That's probably it. Nope. So we've got 18 and 21, but we haven't got 48. Okay, I'm doing something wrong there. Is that what it is? If I is less than, so that should just give us that minus 1. Doing something silly, and I'm not quite sure what it is. So it gets to the end of the array, which is 48. It is starting with 45, ending in 48, right? No, it starts in 18. It ends in 48. Oh, but after. So it shouldn't do that last one. Just saying. Stupid. That's better. So it should be 4521. Okay, so that was a stupid precedence thing that I should have sort of worked out better. So the order's not right. You can't do that. Of course you can't. I'm right. Yeah, I'm getting the right thing. No, we're still getting the wrong thing. I was wrong. What? So if I put, oh, you know what it is? How am I missing that? Oh, that's interesting. It's not throwing an error in a way that I would expect. So this isn't $1, it's $I. This is why you shouldn't use one letter variable names. Perfect. Okay. So, lesson learned. Don't use $I. let's make it a little bit of verbosity. X would have been better. Like really it should be something like position. Array position maybe? So hopefully my test should still pass. Cool. So we've got that. So what we can do, last time I did this with test, I'm not going to bother in this case. I'm going to be super cheaty and just override these with the arrays from the other one, from the other example, just to make sure it works on those values as well. So our input array is going to be this. Too lazy to remember to put D. And we're going to paste those numbers in there. And what are we expecting here? We're expecting, I'm just going to work out 47, 32, 39, and 36. So is that what we actually, what does that tell us? Okay, and I've cut in too many corners, you see. Okay, so what we've got now, if we sort of catch up on where we're at, been going for about 42 minutes. Hopefully this is relatively smooth. Hard to tell on my browser of the dashboard. It looks like I'm frozen completely, so I hope that's not genuinely the case. Let's see if it works. So yeah, basically this is the ugly thing, but it works perfectly. So this is the peak element, so that's going to do what we want. Should we go to the, let's try and use that. So let's do so this is going to be the actual script. Use script, use warnings, and we're going to use peak. We probably have to do use lib. Something like that to make it work. And let's just go peak. How do I do this? What we can do is just do it with that, and it should maybe work. So let's stop our test. 'Cause what does it do? Ah, cool. So it blew up in my face, as we'd hope, because it got an array back. So let's just cheat as ever. Let's just capture that and then we'll dump it. Let's see what that does. So I got the right number. Ah, okay, but I'm returning. That's cool. So it is returning the right thing. Array ref array. That's fine. We can deal with that. So it seems to be working. So what was the rest of the instructions? Let's quickly make that all happen. So basically we want to receive a number that's going to be greater than 1 and then return a bunch of random numbers between 1 and 50, and it should print the peak elements in the array if found. Okay. Okay. Not quite as slick with this bit as I've been with the rest, but let's not worry about that. So let's leave that there. So my again, I'm not going to do much error checking on this. I'll probably use params validate like we did on challenge 70 if I was. We'll just use the topicalizer, if I've got my wording right. So let's run this with 3. It should go 1, 2, 3. Cool. So what we'll do is we'll make an we'll just make an empty array. I have to try and remember how to do this, but probably need to do seeding and stuff, but let's not worry about that. Equals int, is it just rand? I forget my Perl. 50? Push into inputs rand let's push inputs. doing stuff. What happens if we go with 12? Cool. That looks vaguely like it's working. So let's just print it's array. Actually, because it's print, we don't have to worry, do we? We can just go print join that's a bit ugly, but that's joining it on a with comma. What is it? Is that inputs? I think I hate that how that looks, but my keyboard makes doing that forwards that slash a bit tricky. Let's yank that and paste it down here and say there should be something like peak. Is that right? Yeah, let's go peak. And there should be output. Let's see if that works. Oops. Is it a, let's just my silly boy. Actually, we don't even have to do that, do we? We can just do that. And dereference it. So does that look right? So 7 no, 39 no, 49 yes, 40 no, 27 no, 5 no, 35 yes, 30 no, 5 no, 42 yes, 8 no, 21 yes. Okay, let's try it again. Let's see if that one's right. 25 no, 38 no, 44 no, 47 yes, 20 no, 14 no, 2 no, 6 no, 19 no, 33 yes, 32 no, 42 yes. So there you go. So that seemed to work. So let's have a quick look at that. So this isn't pretty. I've got no error checking, no validation, so slap on the wrist for that. But we do have this. We take the number of numbers we want to put in the array. I hope I did check that that's actually 12. If I was doing this properly, I should just double check rand, make sure I'm not getting a number between 0 and 49, but it's probably that plus 1, to be honest, just to be sure, but I'm not going. I haven't seen a 0, but let's just assume we could, if we did that as a test, of course, then it would control the seeding. We could probably prove it for sure. So all I do is I loop around it a number of times, get a random number, push that into the inputs, come down here and I call my method with the inputs, return it to, and this is just reference, array reference, something like and then all we do is print it out with a couple of joins to make it look good. So that's pretty easy. And then if we look at the module, we go back to that. I haven't used moo or used strict because I'm naughty. I probably should do that. I usually use moo, which I'm 99.9% sure does these programmers by default. We don't get any errors, I hope. Yeah, cool. So what we see here, I just created a single method off for peak. Takes itself and an input. I initialize output because I want that outside my loop. Then I loop round the array from 0 to the length of the input array -1. Perlism. Each time I go around, I set before and after to 0. And then if the counter is greater than 0, I look at the number before where the counter is and assign that to before, else I leave it at 0, so it'll always be low. That might be a bug, but it didn't seem to be. It didn't fail the tests. And then after I do the same thing, unless we're at the end of the array. It's probably a better way to do that, but you know, let me know. Our bitrate seems to have dropped, so hopefully you can actually, this bit's working. I should probably have hit record on my computer. So then basically what we do is we just check that the number before and after less than the input, and if it is, we push that number into the output and we return that, and then the script takes that. So pretty simple, really. So yeah, there you go. I hope that was interesting if you watched this. Thanks to Mohammed for the challenge, and for the reason I'm doing these is because Mohammed's been doing them, so I thought I'd join the club and do a couple of videos. So I did challenge 70, and Mohammed, bless you, popped that into the page for this challenge, so you can find that video of challenge 71. Encourage you to join the challenge. Have a play, see what you can do. This took me a bit longer than I planned, but under an hour, and with talking and messing about, so not too bad. Any questions, you can always get a hold of me. It's most people can find me, but Lance Works, you can find me on Twitter and CPAN and all those good things. At Lance W on the Twitters. Other than that, thanks for listening. The music I've been listening to, and I think you've been listening to as well, is my favourite working radio, bizarrely, We Funk Radio from Montreal, Canada. Hopefully it doesn't mean that this video gets blocked. Doesn't mean I won't be able to monetize, but I wasn't planning on doing that anyway. All that like, subscribe, or comment jazz. Be quite cool to get a few more followers on Twitch and on YouTube. So it's Lance W on both of those. So come along and have a chat. Talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.